Joining us now, Democratic Congressman John Garamendi. He serves on the Armed Services Committee. You want to give me your quick reaction? 5,000 U.S. troops potentially being deployed to Colombia if they're needed to deal with the situation in Venezuela?
We always talk about the Constitution. The Constitution says only Congress can wage war. Is that what he intends to do in Venezuela? We're going to go to war in Venezuela? We don't know. This is something that an imperial presidency is what we're developing here in the United States. He wants to use his power to override the authority of Congress in the appropriation of money with regard to these emergency appropriations, now sending troops into Venezuela to what? Wage war, to change the government? We don't know.
He's sending them to Colombia, but what if those troops are needed to rescue American diplomats or American citizens?
Something to think about.
Because Congress would not necessarily have to approve that.
Probably not have to approve that. But what is that? We need to understand what is going on here. This president has been out of control for his entire presidency. You just went through 15 minutes of the chaos of this administration, international policy. We need to settle down here. Obviously, we got to deal with this border wall issue. I will tell you the Democrats are going to provide whatever money is necessary for real security.
I want to get to that in a moment. Let's talk about the breaking news. Yep. You heard the acting Attorney General, Matthew Whitaker, now telling reporters he's been fully briefed on the state of the Mueller probe, and he says it's close to being completed. How significant is that?
Those are words we've heard for more than a year. We'll see when this is completed. I want a complete job done. I want everything that we need to know about the involvement of the Trump campaign in the Russia, what Russia did. We need to know how to protect our democracy. And furthermore, the Mueller investigation is just one piece. The Congress of the United States has to conduct open investigations on everything that's taken place.
Whitaker, the acting Attorney General, also says that the decisions that were made are being reviewed as to what is going to be released to Congress, what's going to be released publicly. Senator Chris Coons tells CNN that is chilling. He used the word chilling. How do you interpret that comment by the acting Attorney General?
Apparently he wants to hide the ball. I hope that's not the case. I want all of the information out. The American public wants to know what is going on. We're demanding that. Congress is demanding that. We can't rely on this Attorney General. If we have to pass a law that all of this comes forward to the American public in Congress, so be it. Would the President sign it? Maybe he'll have to.
And would there be enough votes in the House and Senate to override a presidential veto? You need 2/3. That's not easy.
Well, let's find out what's being hidden, and then we'll see.
Well, let's see what the report, when they conclude the report. As far as Roger Stone, the president's longtime friend and associate going back for decades, the 80s, maybe even the 70s, the White House now argues that Stone's indictment the other day has nothing to do with the president, according to Sarah Sanders, the White House press secretary, and only concerns his testimony to Congress. What does that tell you about Stone facing charges related to conspiracy?
The charges, at least as I understand them and has been reported, are very, very much into the conspiracy issue.
Well, he hasn't formally been charged with conspiracy or collusion. He's been charged with perjury and obstruction.
Well, I just said into the conspiracy issue. I understand there haven't been charges, but certainly he was in touch with WikiLeaks. Certainly there was a question in his emails and other information written into that indictment that would indicate that he was up to his eyeballs in what was going on at that time during that part of the national election process. So yes, there's something here. What does it all mean? This is why we have to have that out in the public. And if Mueller's investigation isn't made public, then the Congress of the United States will do so.
As part of a deal to keep the government open, would you support at least some funding for a steel barrier? Forget about the word wall, but some sort of extensive fence so that the president would be able to say he's got his wall?
Well, here's what I've said from the very get-go on this, and that is, tell us why it is necessary in that particular location. What's it going to cost? What are the elements of this? This is standard procedure for the administration when it comes to Congress for money. Why is it necessary? Why this particular location? What is it going to cost? Does the fence need to be repaired? Is it concrete? Is it granite? Or is it steel? That's of little consequence to me, but I want to know why and what the cost is.
You want details. Congressman Garamendi, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.